And I specifically remember the guy threw a punch at Hoy. The next thing I know, I saw how my forms really worked.
One day I was in Chinatown and I saw people picking on some of the Chinese. So I decided that they need some kind of protection for themselves. I was working in a restaurant at the time, and one of the head chef, Ji Zhuobo, we will work for a couple years. I still do not know he was a Jiaoga seafood. Until one day when Chinese New Year coming, and he performed in Chinatown, that was amazing. I learned Hong Kong and Wai Crane in Hong Kong when I was a little bit younger, but when I look at the Jiaoga, I really love the style. So I went back to the restaurant and asked him to teach me. So whenever we have time or rest, and he started teaching me. One day, found out seafood Dinchan was the same system I'm learning. And then I mentioned to him, how about let's open up a school? Seafood Dinchan say, well, I'm still in school and I'm not really interested to open it. So I decided I will. Then I opened my school in 1968. But then when I opened the school, then I found out I have more American people interested in Kung Fu than the Chinese. When I moved to H Street, I have to help my father opening up the restaurant. Seafood Dinchan was graduated from the school, so I'll give the school Dinchan so he can continue the Jiaoga system.
Both were perfectionists, I want to say, but more so from Dinchan on the precision, preciseness of the movements, which forced me, to even work harder. 6th Street location, where things really started to pick up until his health started, diminishing.
I've been trained at the 3rd school for maybe 5 years.
It was the last school in Chinatown before moving to Tacoma Park.
Yeah. I remember all the great instructors there. Primarily, most of our teaching came from Seafood Mims, but we also trained with other great teachers there. And then every now and then we would get to learn from Seafood Chen. So around 1988, the 3rd school closed down, and we had to then move to Langley Park, Maryland.
Hoy Lee took a gamble, because there was a time when my mom says, you can't go take Kung Fu anymore. Why? Because she couldn't afford it. And when I went to tell Hoy, can't take lessons anymore. So he said, okay, I'll see you tomorrow. And so, yeah, we carried that on because of the example that Hoy and Dinchan said, don't turn anybody away. If they want to learn, you even teach them for free if they're a good character. My mom raised me by herself. I was one of the most vulnerable kids out there. And Kung Fu in the school saved my life. So when people would say, don't go to Langley Park, there's nothing but drugs and all that stuff, and we said, yeah, that's why I'm going. You can't monetize the lives that we touched. I know what the school did for me and what Kung Fu could do for people when we wanted to do the same thing in that community that everybody stayed away from.
When the school closed down, it was a very sad time in the legacy, over 40 years of Jiaoga in this area.
Not too long, a few years after Tacoma Park closed, we were fortunate to have schools that were opened by like Raheem Muhammad, Hong Tao Choi Mei on U Street in DC, Raymond Wong.
But the biggest presence of Jiaoga in Maryland was Derek's school. Jiaoga Kung Fu Athletic Association was a...
I think that happened because Chairman Chung wanted us to further our knowledge. And he offered me an opportunity to travel to Hong Kong to learn more. It definitely strengthened the Jiaoga that we learned here in Washington, D.C. People have seen, some of our forms in Washington, D.C. were a little bit different. But when I went to train in Hong Kong to further my knowledge, I actually learned how actually more similar our version of Jiaoga was, but also it had a lot of questions that I had were finally answered.
So I know my biggest hope is it doesn't have to be 50 students, it could be one student that carries on Jawaga to the next generation.
When I was overseas, I saw a lot of the Jawaga family unity. And my hope is that the students in the U.S., particularly the ones that are related to us, they will be able to be very united, work together, and help spread Jawaga and continue that strong reputation that we have as a family.